Hey Internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Mini Terrain Domain's MTD Presents Pray for Smiley Bob. This is a first level Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition adventure written by Christopher Perkins from Wizards of the Coast. It was originally intended for 4E. It actually comes from Dragon Magazine, or rather Dungeon Magazine, number 205, and I thought it would be fun to run this one, and I managed to gather up a handful of players that also thought it would be fun. So, without further ado, I'm gonna let the players introduce themselves here momentarily, and we will get into the game. So, let's start with Brian.
Well, hi, I'm Brian. I am playing a halfling. Me and Hayden Youngfire. I've never played D&D before, but I have played other role-playing games like Vampire the Masquerade, so I'm looking forward to this.
Excellent, Paul.
My name is Paul, and I'm playing the character Eric the Wanderer, human fighter. That's it.
All right, and Lovro.
Hello, my name is Lovra, and I'm playing Orsic Ralthon, a dwarf cleric. And this is my first time ever playing D&D or any role-playing game, so I'm pretty excited.
All right, I'm excited to have a couple of new players as well. This is a first level adventure, so I'll try not to kill you too hard. Believe it or not, I'm actually not out to kill you. I want us to have some fun, and we'll see what happens. So, without further ado, we'll get started here in a moment. I did want to preface this real quick and say, because this is a one-shot, we're going to assume in the introduction here that your characters at least know each other a little bit, and that you've been together for a brief period of time, enough that you're willing to go on this quest together. In longer adventures and campaigns, of course, you would start your game with a whole session of introductions, but this will allow us to get right into the action. So let's do that. All right. So the setting we are playing in is in the Forgotten Realms, as much of 5th edition takes place there, in the land of Faerun. And we're actually not that far off from the Sword Coast. You guys have been killing time in a valley town known as Red Larch. It's a village that, or a small town actually, that stands along the long road in the Desert Valley. And you've been just kind of, you guys are looking to break into the adventuring world. You've heard the stories, you've heard the legends of adventurers, and you want to be a part of that yourself. So you've been kind of sitting around waiting for something to happen. You're not really sure where to go to get started on this thing. And one of the village elders has actually noticed you a bit, kind of getting the sense that you are you're in the market for some adventure, and he's put out a call for adventurers that nobody has previously taken, and he approached you and told you, or he approaches you, and he is a white-haired, very old halfling, and his name is Gerard, and he introduces himself as Gerard. And he sees the three of you together, and he says, "You look like fine adventurers. Are you up for a quest?"
I walk over to him and ask him what does he mean by a quest? Is anything wrong?
Oh, there's too true that is. Yes, there is trouble. Back in my old homestead of Riverslye.
I look at the party and ask them if they know of this place. Call Riverside.
I have never heard of this place.
Do you roll anything for that, Jacob?
Yeah, why don't you guys go ahead and roll me a history check. And Brian, I want you to roll with advantage because you are a halfling. That means you're going to roll 2 d20 and take the higher of the 2 rolls. Everyone else just roll a d20 and add your whatever your history skill is.
Okay, I got a 11.
All right.
11.
Yeah, 12.
You guys have all heard of Riverslye. Relatively unremarkable, what you've heard. Aiden probably would have been maybe a little more curious about this place than your average person, because what you know is that Riverslye Homestead is a very small community of all halflings. They've kind of secluded themselves. They stay away from the big cities, as they call them. And Riverslye is it's about a half a day's journey from where you are now in Red Larch. And Gerard tells you, I grew up in the homestead of Riverslye, and word has come to me that an old legend has come true and is terrorizing my old homestead.
What kind of dangers does it present? Can you tell us more about it?
Well, I'm not much suited for stories. If you do go to Riverslye, the storyteller there could fill you in much more. But what I can tell you is that there is a legend in Riverslye of an old bear, and it seems he has resurfaced. And as of the last I heard, at least one of our community has been taken by this bear. Now I don't know how much coin the commune has to offer, but I can promise you that if you can save my homestead, you will have free food and lodging here in Red Lodge for a month.
So, should we help the guys?
Yes. The life is more important than the reward. You must save him.
Caden perks up to this, so the hearing about a large bear and the legend and everything, and the chance of more adventures. Yes.
Excellent. And he gives you directions to follow a road west out of town, kind of northwest. And he says if you travel about a half a day's northwest towards the Crypt Garden Forest, you will encounter the community along the river there. They would be most excited to see you.
We should start walking right now.
Yeah, it's probably we'll say that it's about mid-morning right now in Red Larch. So about a half a day's journey. You're going to get there in the mid to late afternoon.
All right. We would start heading there. I have no problem with this.
Yeah, let's go now.
Yeah.
All right. So for the next couple moments, if you wish, we can either jump ahead, or if you guys want to talk in character and introduce yourselves, or if there's anything else that you want to talk about, you're welcome to do that, or we can fast forward to your arrival at the town.
No, I think we can just fast forward.
All right.
Yep.
So you guys travel northwest without incident. The Desserin Valley, where Red Larch is, you've heard rumors that there's been some bizarre happenings there, and that's what originally brought you there. But you so far hadn't seen anything, and as such, as you're heading towards your destination, you do not encounter anything along the road. It's a very nice kind of midsummer day, not too warm. And after several hours of walking, you guys encounter, there's a place where the bank of the river, you notice that it starts rising into hilly area. And a little further along, you see that there's 5 very distinct grassy hillocks along the south bank. And as you approach, you can see that these banks have actually been hollowed out, and you can see doors and windows on some of these. And you notice that there is a small stone wall about 4 foot high of neatly piled rocks that kind of surrounds the town on 3 sides, with the river being the 4th boundary. And along the shore of the river, there's several rafts and boats that are tied up along the edge. And you can see some families of halflings going about their business, doing chores. There's a few people mending some nets and some fishing lines, a couple people working on the boats. And as you come over the hill and come into view, all of the halflings in this area, they perk up at seeing you, and they seem very curious to see travelers. And as the community begins to buzz with the arrival of the 3 of you, a particularly stout halfling, you see him come around the corner around the edge of one of the hills, and he's kind of looking around like he's looking for whatever's causing this commotion in his community. And he actually lights up when he sees you, and he kind of pulls his britches up, hikes them up a bit, and comes marching towards you. And when he's still about 10 feet away from you, he's got his hand held out to you, and he makes a beeline, particularly for you, Aiden, as a fellow halfling. And he comes walking up to you, and he says, "Are you adventurers?" And he reaches for your hand, Aiden, and grasps it and shakes it firmly, and he says, "It is so wonderful to see adventurers in these parts."
Well, Kitten's like, as the man shakes his hand firmly. Yes, nice to meet you too. Yes, we heard that there was trouble here. My companions have come to help.
And then he turns to you, Eric and Orsig, and he, in turn, grasps each of your hands, and he shakes, and he says, "Oh, we are so thankful to have you here in Riverslye. I am Constable Warren."
I shake his hand firmly. "Hi, I'm Eric, and what seems to be the trouble here, sir?"
"Oh, dear. We've already lost 2 of our young halflings in the past 2 weeks already. I fear I'm terrible at stories. We're going to need Riley to properly convey the story to you." And he says, Come into the community. Come with us. You look as though you've been traveling for a while, and you look famished." And he kind of makes gestures as he beckons you to follow him into the heart of the community. And he starts just kind of pointing around at different people. And different men and women, even children, start kind of popping out, and you can see that this entire community is only about 30 or so halflings, and they start coming out with baskets of bread and fruits and vegetables, some salted meats, and in the center of the community, there's a large fire pit, and there is some planks that have been laid across a couple of cut down trees with just the stumps there, and already you see halflings are draping cloth over it, and then before the cloth even settles, these bowls of fruit and baskets of bread and meat and fish, everything is laid out, and already halflings, without even waiting, other halflings are sidling up to the table and begin grabbing hold and start eating, and they're beckoning you, come, come, and they gather you around the table, and they leave spaces for you to sit around the table so that you can eat. And the Constable Warren, disappears for a moment, and he comes back, and a Lightfoot halfling comes around, and he has a very studious look about him. He's wearing bracers much like the other ones, but he has a little bow tie, and he's got little round spectacles, and he seems to have found something to slick his hair back, almost like a pomade. One moment. And as he comes up, Constable Warren introduces him as Riley. He says, Travelers, this is Riley. He is our community storyteller." And Riley seems almost a little shy as he kind of approaches you, and he doesn't offer his hand, and he just kind of says, "You're here about the bear?"
What bear might you be talking about? This is the first we've ever heard of any encounter whatsoever with any creature.
No, he kind of looks over at the constable, and he says, I thought you were here about the bear." And Constable Warren says, "Did not Gerard send you?"
Well, he told us there was an incident. He didn't, and everyone keeps saying that they don't know a good story. They're not a good storyteller to tell her what happened. So you would be the first to tell us what is going on.
Excellent. We're going to pause for one quick second. I see Robert. You're muted, buddy. Are you...
Yeah, I'm sorry. My internet flubbed up, so...
So you're our fourth player.
I am.
Excellent. I was so focused on the role play, I didn't see you down in the corner. Thanks to Paul for shooting me a message.
I didn't want to interrupt. It was really cool.
No, that's great. We'll just slot you in here real quick because we're just getting to the exposition. So, what is your what are you playing today?
A dwarven bard by the name of Rogar Stoneword.
Rogar. Excellent. And what is your AC?
The Giant 12.
Awesome. And your passive perception?
9.
9. Okay. So, since you've been pretty much listening to all of this, we're going to assume that Rogar was along with everyone and has partaken in this. We can just slot you nicely right into this. So you're officially into this section.
Cool.
And let's get right back on track. So, Constable Warren looks at Riley and says, "Well, Riley, Why don't you tell them about the bear, since they don't know about it? And Riley suddenly, he goes, oh, all right. And he walks to the front, to the head of the table, and the rest of the halflings, as Riley moves to the head of the table, the rest of the halflings all kind of stop eating, and they look eagerly to him. And as he goes to the head of the table, somebody brings out a wooden stool, and they place it before him so that he can climb up on the stool, and he stands a little bit taller, and he clears his throat. All right, we'll begin. And then he kind of cricks his neck a little bit, cracks his knuckles, and he says, 5 years ago, the halfling adventurer Reed Tinderfoot was hunting bears in the woods, and all the halflings are like, oh, he was hunting bears, Reed Tinderfoot. You get the sense that they've heard the story before, but it's like one of their favorites. And he says, yes, Riley Tinderfoot was hunting bears. And one day he came across the bear known around these parts as Bob. And he got into a tussle with Bob, and all he had with him was his sword. And the bar raked Reed Tinderfoot across his face, leaving 4 deep gashes, and giving him a trophy he would never forget. But Reed Tinderfoot was not one to shy meekly away from a bear. With his sword, he gave Bob his own scar to remember him by, in the form of a scar that stretches from the corner of his mouth all the way up the side of his head. And on that day, Reed Tinderfoot changed that bear's name to Smiley Bob, for it looks as if he is smiling maliciously if you see him. And other of the halflings gasp. You hear one near you, Orsig, kind of leans over to his friend, and while looking at you, he goes, "I've seen Smiley Bob. I turned and went to look and went the other way." And somebody across the table is like, "Oh yeah, I've seen Smiley Bob." And it quickly seems as though everybody claims to have seen Smiley Bob at some time or another. And Riley says, "For 5 years, Smiley Bob took the message and left us peacefully here in Riverslye. But it appears Smiley Bob is out for his revenge." And then he removes, some of the other halfling men that are wearing hats, they kind of take their hat off their head, holding it in front of them, as he says, "Let us not forget young halfling Happy Shoals, or that darling of a girl, Pumpkin Rockhooker, both of whom," and he looks to you adventurers, and he says, "both Happy and Pumpkin have been taken by Smiley Bob in the last 2 weeks."
What caused Smiley Bob to start attacking if he's been leaving you guys alone for so long?
That's what we're hoping you can tell us. And then he kind of steps down, and Constable Warren steps up, and he says, "Thank you, O'Reilly." He goes, "So you've heard the story of Reed Tinderfoot, and you've heard of Smiley Bob, and this is why we're hoping you can help us. We know that Smiley Bob lives 2 miles southwest of here in an old abandoned windmill. We fear that we are no match for him, and so we have not been able to mount even an attempt of a rescue if in fact Pumpkin and Happy are still alive, and we do hope and pray that they are. But it is this that we ask of you, that you could please by any means necessary, rid us of the threat of Smiley Bob. And somebody else speaks up and, oh, please, dears, don't hurt the bear. You scare him off. Hush now, hush, hush. They'll kill him if they needs to, but they could let him live. And there seems to be kind of a 50-50 muttering among the crowd. Some want you to kill the bear outright. Some want you to let him live. To let it live. So, at any rate, Constable Warren says, it will be night soon, and it would be far too dangerous, I fear, to go after Smiley Bob in the dark. You are welcome to stay here amongst our residents for the evening if you wish to start fresh in the morning.
Yes, that would be a good idea. We could rest and then be full of energy before we go.
And then you noticed that there was a halfling was kind of wandering around amongst the other guests around the table, and he shows up to Constable Warren holding his hat in his hand, and he hands his hat to Constable Warren, and you can hear a distinct clinking sound. And the constable goes, whoa, reaches into his own purse, and he pulls out a couple of gold coins and drops them in, quickly looks through the hat, and then sets it on the table before you, and he says, it appears the community has gathered 100 gold to pay you for your services. So you have 100 gold in the hat in front of you, and an invitation to rest for the evening.
Well, I would like to learn more about Smiley Bob before we decide to kill him. I'd rather see if there's any way we could save him, like some of the community members want. So I'll be willing to stay the night.
Caden agrees. He knows like this. Yeah, I think we should learn a bit more.
Yes, Orsic is also tired from the walking and he wants to rest before going.
All right. So throughout, as you stay the night, you're able to talk amongst some of the halflings a little more casually. For those of you that wish it, some of the halflings break out some homebrew beers and ales and some more potent spirits. They don't seem to be a community for getting outright drunk, but they do enjoy their drink. And you've noticed that after a few drinks have passed, that their lips get a little even looser, and mostly what you hear is various tales of these halflings telling you of their own encounters with Smiley Bob. More often than not, it involves somebody seeing somebody during, or seeing Smiley Bob during a hunting trip, or while they were fishing, they saw him along the bank fishing and paddled as hard as they could back upriver. Or they were out hunting in the woods and they encountered the bear and turned the other way. One young man and his brother claim that they actually ventured up by the old windmill and in the hopes of spying Smiley Bob, and he said he says that they didn't see the bear themselves, but they saw these creatures that were short like halflings, but they had a sick yellow skin and pointed ears. And said, don't know what they were, but they were hanging out in front of the windmill and they were chucking rocks at one another. And the younger one says, that, of course, that reminded me of Punk and Rock Hooker.
Could I roll a nature check to figure out what that might be?
Absolutely. Any of you can roll a nature check if you wish.
17?
Yep. And Robert,
Yeah,
you can, I mentioned at the beginning, you can use the Dice Stream app to roll if you wish, or you can just roll physical dice in front of you. It's on our system here. So, you know, from the description, you're very certain that these are, in fact, goblins that they're describing.
I keep that information to myself for later.
Okay. Anybody else roll for that? Roll a nature check?
Well, with Rogar, I just rolled a 2, so I think I would stand up and say that they're gnomes.
Excellent.
Dirty gnomes.
Oh, scary.
All right.
I got a 16.
Yeah, so you're fairly certain as well, from what you've heard and tales of other people, even back in Red Larch, that what is being described is goblins.
I've got a 13.
Same goes for you.
Okay.
So you guys are all, with the exception of Rogar, you're all fairly certain you're going to be facing goblins, and Rogar is preparing to face dirty gnomes. All right. So
I would like to ask more about the adventurer that attacked the bear. Where would he be right now, if anyone would know?
yeah, so you start to get conflicting stories of Reed Tinderfoot. The only thing that everybody seems to agree on is that shortly after his encounter with the bear and telling his tale, he disappeared seeking his own life of adventure. He figured that if he could survive a bear attack, that he would head out into the world and seek his own fortune. Some say that he has been traveling the realms, traveling the Sword Coast for 5 years and has met brave and wonderful adventurers. And couple of the older hobbits seem fairly convinced that when he found himself more than 10 miles away from Riverslye, that he was more likely robbed by bandits or got himself killed, as they say. But up to that point, you learn that Reed Tinderfoot was a young halfling, but not too young, old enough to know better. But he was one of the best hunters and fishermen in town, and he was pretty well respected. But that bear seemed to do something to him that made him want to go out into the world.
Would he still have a house here, or is that with his house long been sold now?
The house that he stayed in was with his family, and some of his family still live in there. His sister and her children and her husband actually live in his home now. And if you talk to his sister, she's kind of sad about it, but she seems to be of the mind that he's still out there somewhere.
Well, I bid her a good day and carry along. Wouldn't want to bother her about it.
All right. Does anybody want to talk to anybody else?
No, not me. I think we have all the information we could have.
Excellent. All right. So the rest of your night goes smoothly. Various of the halflings put you up in their homes, and Aiden and even Orsig and Rogar, you all find the accommodations to be quite comfortable. Eric, all of the beds are a bit small for your liking, and the family that you are with, they finally they mutter amongst themselves, and they push 3 beds together, kind of modify them and make a makeshift human-sized bed for you. So
Thanks, guys. You're the best.
after a little bit of tossing and turning, you're able to get a comfortable night's sleep.
That's good.
And of course, when morning comes, you're kind of woken up by the dawn and just the normal hustle and bustle as people are getting things together. Your various families invite you back out to the community area where breakfast of eggs and bacon and sausages and um, fish and just whatever you could want, so you can get your day started off with a nice hearty breakfast. And you notice as you're kind of finishing up your breakfast that especially the children, they seem to be gathering around you, and a couple of them are like, "When are you going to go?" So they're kind of, they want you to get out there and deal with this thing as quickly as possible.
I would say I'm ready anytime you guys are.
Well, Caden was sitting at the table and he was carving out a little rabbit out of wood just after his breakfast. And he says, "We're going to go expect soon." As he says that, he hands his little wooden rabbit to one of the children.
Very nice.
Orsic is just sitting and praying for the safety of our party and the safety of the bear, because some people don't want him dead. He's just waiting till we leave.
Excellent. So you know that you need to head out toward the windmill, which is about 2 miles southwest of where you are. And there's a trail. It seems to be a very little used trail. It looks as though at one point it was probably used quite a bit, but it's been disused for a few years, a little overgrown in places, but you can follow it. And as you head out along this trail, you kind of see through the trees in a clearing and up on a bit of a just a little bit of a raised area, you can start to see this old slouching, dilapidated stone windmill, and it rises up above the trees, and you can see it's got 6 blades on it, but the sails on the blades are old and deteriorated, slouching and hanging from there. And you can see that below that there's a door on the one side that's kind of hanging open. And from where you are in the tree line, you can actually start to hear very clearly. You can hear little voices, but they sound more gravelly and less delightful than the halflings from the village. And you hear a lot of cackling laughter, and you're, "Ah, yes! Woo!" And you can
Now I
see,
know for a fact we're facing.
you can see these dirty, yellow-skinned, pointy-eared goblins. You see 6 of them are out in front of the windmill, and they're about 50 feet apart in 2 groups of 3, and they've got in one arm or at their feet, they've got piles of rocks about the size of baseballs, and they seem to be playing some kind of a game that is involves them chucking the rocks at each other and trying to hit one another. And occasionally they are succeeding in hitting one another, but not enough to really do any damage. They seem to kind of get angry for a second and laugh it off. But that is what you see.
So we know for a fact we're facing goblins. Do I find any rocks nearby?
Oh yeah, there are rocks around.
Which is the biggest, heaviest rock I could throw?
Depends on how hard you're trying to throw it.
Mm,
I would say that you could probably, if you picked up a rock, and you can find, because this is a kind of a rocky terrain area, you could probably find a rock upwards of a little bit smaller than, say, a soccer ball. A rock that big, you might be able to hurl it. What's your strength?
16.
Yeah, so you'd be able to hurl that one maybe a good, 15, 20 feet. Obviously, the smaller, if you go towards baseball size, you could probably chuck one of those good 60 feet.
I'll take a baseball size one.
All right. Well, what are you going to do with this baseball size rock?
I was thinking of distracting the goblins, or at least throwing it at one of them hard enough that they won't think the other goblins are playing anymore, and they start hurting each other.
Okay.
But only if the group decides that's a good idea, or should we do something else?
Oh, what's the
Could,
character's name again?
I want to get on one of the side of the goblins and chuck a rock as hard as I can, so they would think one of the goblins attacked them harder than they needed to,
Yeah,
so they would attack each other.
yeah. What's your name? What's your character's name again?
Eric.
Eric. Okay.
could the goblins see where the rock came from, like where we were?
Well, I would take around to the other side if that would work.
Yeah, if our location would stay, like, if they didn't know where we were, we could do that, yeah. We just,
He says, well, if you do that, if you want to do that, well, maybe I can sneak and have a peek inside and see if there's anything else that's dangerous.
All right.
Is goblins very vicious towards anything else other than themselves?
You can see that these goblins they basically are, they're mostly like bear skin, not bear skin. Their skin is bare, except for a little bit of rough hide, and they have some little bit of armor, like a bracer or something on their side, and that they have bows on their backs, and they have kind of rusty-looking scimitars on their belts. It's hard to tell from the game. I mean, they seem a little playful, but so do lion cubs when they're playing. It's hard to tell how vicious they could be.
Because I know if my brother threw like a ball at me harder than he should have, I would throw it back at him as hard as I can.
So, if you're going to do that, if Eric is going to attempt to do this, I'm going to need you to roll a stealth.
Oh, guys, I'm sorry for failing it right now. I'm telling you.
And then if Aiden is going to attempt, if and when Aiden attempts to sneak past them, if this ruse works, you also will need to roll stealth.
Okay. That's a fire.
So, Eric, if you're going to chuck your rock, you just need to succeed on a stealth check.
17, yeah. +1, 18.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and have you roll this as an attack. You're able to throw the rock without being seen, but now you need to see if you actually hit one of these things. So go ahead and roll it as an attack, and it's a ranged weapon, so use your dexterity.
All right. Oh, oops. Here we go. 8, 9. 9 to hit. It's not going to hit it.
Your rock just seems to disappear amongst the other rocks that are being thrown and goes completely unnoticed.
Can I try again?
You can. 1 second.
Okay.
Everybody roll a stealth check for me.
Can I keep my stuff? Still gonna go down here.
I rolled a 5.
All right.
19.
Okay, I got 19 plus 3, so that's 20.
4!
I'm
Plus
on
1.
one.
Well, since
All right.
I mean, I didn't move, so could I keep my stuff from last time?
Yeah, that's fair. I'll allow that. And
Okay.
since the three of you are successful, you notice that Aiden. One of you notices that Aiden is about to step on a stick, and you're able to quickly stop him from stepping on the stick. That would have probably given away your position. So as of right now, the goblins have still not noticed you. So if you wish to attempt something else or the same thing, you're free to do so.
I say, okay, Caden says, try again, Eric, but a little higher.
Alright, so pick up another baseball-sized rock and I chuck it.
All right, roll an attack.
Yeah!
Is that a 1?
It's a 1.
Wow.
Too high.
Okay.
Too high.
Just goes,
Now this is what happens. So you actually throw this rock, and you're aiming for one of the goblins on the far side so that you can execute your plan. And you threw it hard enough that if it hit the goblin on the far side, he definitely would have been mad that one of the other goblins was playing a little too hard. But your aim is off, and you hit one of the goblins whose back is to you, and you nail him in the back of the head. But actually, you don't hit him in the back of the head. You hit him kind of between the shoulder blades, and his tough skin is enough that it doesn't really do anything to him other than 100% alert him to the fact that he just got attacked from behind.
Right.
So when he turns around, he sees you standing there having just thrown this rock, and immediately all of the goblins are aware of your presence, and
I done goofed, guys.
we are going to go ahead and roll initiative.
Yay.
It was a good plan. Alright, so...
Man.
Oh.
I got 18 on initiative, by the way.
Okay, so that's... Eric has an 18.
I got a 7.
So that's Orthig.
Yeah.
I got 6.
A 6 for Aiden.
I'm charging in with 3.
Alright. Well, I rolled
We're
a
doing good.
20. I rolled a 22 for the goblins.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
So upon seeing you, and they were probably a good about 50 feet away from you, they actually immediately upon seeing you, they keep their separation, but they kind of shift so that there's still the two groups of 3, but they're sort of in line, and they are going to excuse me, they're going to draw their bows and start taking shots at you. And the way I'm going to do this, because they're not specifically, well, I will say that the first arrow is aimed right at Eric, because he's the most prominent one, and it's the one that got hit that is shooting at you. But for the rest of these, just so you guys know how I do this, is I'm going to roll a d4 along with the attack, and the way you guys appear on my screen at the bottom is the numerical value. That's to determine who's getting attacked. So I'm not picking on any one person, with the exception of this first one. How about a 23? Does that hit? That looks like that hits you, Eric.
I wish it did.
You get hit with an arrow, and you take... Ooh.
That's not. I don't like that.
You take 5 points of damage as the arrow sinks into your shoulder.
Yay! I'm bloodied.
Rogar. I do believe that a 15 is going to hit you. And you're going to take 2 points of damage. He didn't quite get a bead on you. Let's see, that is Eric. This arrow comes sailing at you and hits a tree branch. Or, wait, that's Aiden. Yeah, Aiden. This arrow hits a tree branch and deflects away from you. Another goblin can't even seem to get his bow strung right, or his arrow knocked right, and fails to attack. Another arrow comes flying wildly past Eric, and the final goblin sinks his arrow about 20 feet into the ground in front of you. Or rather, 20 feet in front of you, sinks it into the ground. So it looks like two of you got hit. And Eric, you are first after the goblin, so you are up.
All right, so I draw out my longsword and pick up my shield, and I charge at the one of the goblins in front of me and attack it.
All right.
With a 3. Wait, how is that possible? I rolled the 20 plus 5. How did I get 3?
Oh, the pluses don't work on Dice Stream.
Oh.
So that still would be what, an 8?
That's 8, yeah. It doesn't hit.
So you swing your sword menacingly at this goblin, but do not hit him.
Okay.
That's going to be Orsig. You are up.
Okay, I grab my warhammer with two hands and charge in at one of the goblins that is like the first one closest by to me.
Okay.
And I try attacking him with my warhammer.
All right.
What do I roll?
Oh, sorry. Roll a d20 and add your strength modifier and add your proficiency bonus to that.
Okay, I rolled an 8.
So then what's your strength modifier?
+2.
So that gives you a 10, and then proficiency bonus gives you a 12. And this goblin sees you coming, and as you swing your warhammer down, he just kind of skitters backward out of the way. So that means it is now Aiden's turn.
Okay, so Aiden stays back in the tree line, just beside the tree, and he pulls out his longbow, and he's going to aim for one of the goblins.
Alright, roll the attack.
So, smarting? Yeah.
What's it? What's that?
Is that a D20?
Yeah, roll a d20.
Oh, I got a 1, so I can move.
You rolled a 1? Oh, yeah, because you're a halfling, you have the lucky trait that you re-roll a 1, but you have to take this new roll.
I'm gonna do that, yeah. Okay, that's a 6. What did I add to that?
That's your attack bonus for your longbow.
Ah, yeah, so that's a +7.
So that's a 13. And that misses. These are nimble little goblins. You guys are getting close, but no cigar.
Caden's he's a bit disgusted with himself that he missed his, to him, what he thinks is an easy shot.
So Rogar, the bard, it is your turn, and you were one of the two that were hit, but you have seen none of your compatriots strike yet. It is now your turn. What will you do?
Well, I'm gonna look at the arrow that's probably like in my arm or something, and think about how this is gonna make a good song later. I'm gonna pull out my long sword, wield it with 2 hands, and charge in. Am I close enough to hit any of them?
Yeah, you guys can get up on them. I think I originally said they were 50 feet away, but I meant that was how far apart from each other they were. So you can definitely get up to them.
Alright, so I'm just gonna attack the closest one.
All right, roll the attack.
That would be a 9.
So you charge in, and maybe because of the arrow in your arm, your swing goes a little wide, and you also miss. After this first round, you're fairly certain. It's hard to tell from their gravelly voices, but a couple of the goblins look at each other, and you're fairly certain at least a couple of them are laughing at you.
Oh man.
But you guys have attacked on the group that was closest to you, and you forced them into close combat. So those 3 are going to attack first, and they are dropping their bows.
Before that, can I ask a question? Who am I closest to?
Right now, because you guys all moved into the group that was closest, you guys are all fairly close. I'd say...
Because I grant disadvantage, since I'm a protector, I grant disadvantage to any attackers if they're attacking an ally.
Yep, they're attacking your allies, so I will grab my other d20. Because they are attacking with scimitars, and the first one is attacking at Caden. And it looks like a 16 is going to hit you. So a scimitar slashes out and slashes across you for 3 points of damage. Another goblin quickly swings out his scimitar. And that also aimed at Caden, but this one swings wildly, missing. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. So Orsig, a scimitar sails right past your face and takes a few of your beard hairs off. But other than that, you take no damage, maybe to your pride at your beard. And Rogar. Wait, this is the 4th one. That doesn't matter. From the other group, an arrow comes sailing past Rogar's head, does not find its mark. Remind me, the protector, does that grant disadvantage when because you're next to your ally?
Yeah, it says 5 feet within my ally.
Okay. So I want to make sure that the 3 goblins that are attacking from a range distance are still disadvantaged, and that makes sense. So they indeed are. So 2 more goblins. Oh boy. That you guys, an arrow flies high over your heads. Even Eric the human, it's way over your head. And the final arrow comes sailing through the air and continues to sail into the woods, thunking into a tree behind you. They were not so lucky this round. And it is now Eric's turn.
I slash my blade down in the first goblin in front of me.
All right.
So be, oh god, 7.
Your blade swings down at where he was, and he just kind of turns sideways, and it just slips right in front of him.
Oh guys, I'm gonna be over here if you need me.
These virtual dice are not being kind to you.
No.
All right. It is now. Let's see. It is now Orsig, the cleric's turn.
Yeah, I try to hit with my warhammer again. Maybe I have better luck this time.
All right. D20 plus strength and proficiency.
I rolled an 8, so 8 plus 2 plus 2, yeah, 12.
Even at close range, these goblins seem to be dodging your attacks. So that one also misses. I'm getting the sense that you guys are going to need to roll just a little higher to damage these guys.
Or at all.
Caden.
Okay, there's a goblin right beside me, isn't there? Attack, yes.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So Caden.
Well, wait. You stayed in the wood line, right?
Yeah.
So they're not right beside you, but they're in front of you about 30 feet, attacking your.
Right. Okay. So I'll still shoot at them with my bow again.
The close-up ones attacking your friends, or the farther away ones?
The ones that are using range.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead and roll it up.
Okay, I got a 19.
That is definitely a hit.
Hooray, we got one.
Go ahead and roll damage.
What's a 1d8?
Yep, 1d8 plus 3, I believe.
Okay, that's a 5 plus 3. So that's 8.
So you launch this arrow, and this arrow is flying so true that the rest of your party, you can actually hear this arrow whistle through the air, and it hits this one of the ranged goblins so hard that it actually comes partway out his back and knocks him off his feet and throws him backwards about 5 feet, where he lands on the ground dead.
Woo! Caden goes, yes! Like this.
Excellent. And it is Rogar's turn.
I get my longsword and I stab it into the ground, and I'm gonna cast Thunder Wave. So
Just to clarify on Thunder Wave, it's a 15-foot cube that originates on you, and you control its direction. Depending on how you angle that, there's a chance that you can catch your allies in the blast.
is there a way I can not catch them, or like minimize it where I only get one?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you're aware of that for future, because you guys are more or less Eric, Orsig, and Rogar. You're more or less in front of the 3 goblins with scimitars. If you angle that kind of forward and away from you, you will catch all 3 of them without hitting your buddies. Your allies are going to hear the deafening roar of thunder, indeed, but it's actually not going to hurt them. So I believe, double check, but I believe that's a wisdom saving throw, right?
Constitution.
Oh, it's con?
Con.
Yes, that is Constitution. So what is your spell save DC? The spell save is going to be whatever your spell save DC is. That's what I need to roll.
12.
Okay. So those 3 goblins need to roll con save. They do not get a bonus, so fail. Fail. Oh, fail. So you catch all 3 of the goblins. So I believe that is 2d8 of thunder damage, and all 3 of them are going to be thrown backwards 10 feet. So go ahead and roll me 2d8 of damage.
10 damage.
So what you see as Rogar shoves his longsword into the ground, he just kind of pulses for a second, and this tremendous crash of thunder emanates from him, rolling over the hills, and you can even you'll hear it echoing into the distance. But you immediately see that the 3 goblins in front of you are all thrown into a heap backwards 10 feet, and as they land on the ground in crumpled heaps, the only movement that you see is the blood trickling from their ears. You have just killed all 3 goblins. So there are now 2 goblins at range that are left, and they have been shaken by this. I'm actually going to, because it's their turn now, so they are pretty shaken by this, so they're going to attack. They're going to shoot arrows at you guys, and Rogar, they're targeting you, but they're attacking the first guy. He knocks his arrow so badly that when he's shaking, and he's like, oh, and he lets his arrow go, and it kind of flops off to the side. And the second one, he shoots it, but he's so scared that it actually kind of goes in an arc that it ends up shooting like 50 feet into the air and lands about 10 feet in the front of you in the ground. They were just so shaken by this for that round. And it is back to Eric.
So, like normal, like I usually do, just charge up to one of the archer goblins and slice down. Hopefully, I hit it.
These guys are actually 50 feet away. So I'm guessing you're at 30 foot is your movement?
Yeah.
So the best you can do is get within 20 feet of them this round, or you can take the dash action to get right in front of them, but you won't have an attack action left this round. Or if you have any kind of a ranged weapon, you could use that.
I have a crossbow, but
Yep.
once I use that, I don't grant disadvantage anymore.
That's your call. I just wanted to lay it out. Those are your choices. You can attack with a ranged attack. You can run up to 30 feet and then attack with a range, run 30 feet and hold, or you can run the full 50 feet to engage them, but you won't be able to attack this round.
I'll just run 30 feet and hold.
Okay. All right. Then it is Orsig.
I have a question. How long does one round take? Like, how many minutes or?
So, the general rule of thumb is that one round of combat is approximately 6 seconds. It's as if all of these things are happening at once.
Okay. Oh no, I'll take out my crossbow. I have a light crossbow and I'll shoot at one of the archers.
Okay. So that's a D20 and add your dexterity modifier.
I rolled a 9 and my dexterity modifier is 0, so that's enough.
and then your proficiency bonus, which would put you up to an 11, but that's still not enough to hit.
Yeah. I'm not doing so well.
And it is...
Yarn.
It's now Caden's turn.
Hey, so Caden's gonna shoot at one of them, the other one again.
All right.
+18. That's 7.
Did you just say 18 plus 7?
Yeah.
That is definitely a hit.
Excellent.
That is some solid archery.
Okay, so that's a 1 plus 3.
All right. So your arrow finds its mark in the leg of one of the goblins, and he howls in pain, but it does not take him down. And Rogar.
I'm gonna hustle my 25 feet, and then I'm gonna say that they should yell to the goblins that if they want to live, they should probably run now. And can I make an intimidate check or something?
Yeah.
Five.
They stare wide-eyed at you. They don't appear to be intimidated by you. Yeah, they are not intimidated. They are not going anywhere. And it is their turn. So, let's see. The one that you attacked, or that you shot, Caden, he is going to attempt to shoot at you. And he's going to miss. Yeah, that's a 13. That does not hit you. And because you've run up and are the closest, Eric, you're getting shot at. A 23 hits you, I believe.
I'm dead, man. Come on. I'm gonna die.
How many hit points do you have left?
7.
Well, then it's good I rolled 3 for damage.
Oh, yay.
You still got 4 left.
Yeah. I'm on a knee.
And it is now your turn.
Eric? Me?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay. So I finish running up my feet and I slice down at the one that attacked me.
Excellent. Roll the attack.
Please hit. 20!
Yay!
All right.
Nice.
So, what's your damage on the short sword, or is that what you're using?
Its max damage would be 6 plus 3.
Well, it's actually double damage. In 5th edition, a critical hit, you roll damage twice and then add your modifiers. What is your modifier?
8 to plus 3.
Plus 3. Okay. Go ahead and roll your damage twice.
Uh, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right. So, because you run up on here, and this attack makes up for your misses. It's a spectacular attack that looks well choreographed. How do you kill this goblin?
Is there a light show behind me?
The sun, yes, as you swing your sword, the sun just happens to have moved into a position that at the apex of your swing, the sun glints off, and you swear you hear a metallic ring echoing as your sword comes down and you cleave this goblin from shoulder to its other hip, and it falls into 2 separate halves.
I did it!
Oh.
Nice.
I killed one!
You did indeed. It is now Caden's turn.
Okay, so
One
can
goblin remains.
okay, this is the one I wounded, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So Caden's gonna move up, but he's gonna have his bow he's gonna have his bow checked on the goblin, and he calls out, "Throw down your weapon."
Oh yeah, yeah. So seeing you, knowing that you're the one that already put the arrow in its leg, and seeing what you guys have done, and particularly seeing what Eric has just done to the goblin next to him, you can actually see some of his goblin friend's blood is splattered along the side of him. He looks at you walking up on him with your bow drawn, and he holds his sword up, and then he just drops it to the ground and shakily puts his hands in the air. And he says, "Don't kill! Don't kill!"
Okay, so Caden still has his bow drawn on it, and he walks up to it, and he says, "What were you guarding in here? Why?"
And he says, he looks at you and he goes, "The bear sleeps inside. We watch the bear."
Why do you watch it?
He says, "We use the bear. The bear gets us halflings, and then we eat them. It was all Tarpu's idea."
Is that your leader?
"Yes, Tarpu leader."
Where is your leader?
Somebody's got something in the background that's causing feedback.
Is it me?
Yeah, I think it is you. All right. He says, "Tarpu make us dress up like halflings to train the bear. The bear chases us and captures us. Many brothers die, but the bear now do what we want."
Can I go to the goblin and ask them where the halflings are? The ones that were taken by the bear.
He says, he kind of points back at the windmill, and he says, "One of the halflings is upstairs. We make stew tonight."
And the other one?
"The other one we eat." Mm.
Did I fix the problem, by the way? Sorry.
Say that again?
Did I fix the problem? It's gone now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, so he says that they ate the other one. He says, Tarpu's he's getting fish to make fish and halfling stew. He'll come back later.
I propose we wait for him and make like an ambush or something.
That sounds like a good idea.
And we could maybe take him to the village, to the halflings, so they see who's responsible for all of this.
So you want to set up an ambush for this Tarpu?
Yes.
Yeah.
I also want to heal.
Oh yeah, I think I can heal
Look
you.
at that. Could you heal me? That'd be great.
Yeah, I go to you and I use my Cure Wounds spell.
How much does that give me?
It's a D8 plus my spell ability modifier.
So
Is,
you would roll that Orsig.
yeah, so D8, which I roll a 7 plus 3, so I give you 10.
Yes, full health.
So I give you 10 health, yeah. And I use I use
And
one of my spells, so
yes, that's one spell slot.
I have one left, right? For the day.
Yeah, I believe so. You just have the. Hold on.
I believe
Yeah,
I have only.
you have 2 first level spell slots at first
Yeah.
level, and then whatever your cantrips are.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're some of that feedback's still coming in occasionally, Paul. When you're not
Okay.
talking, if you can just leave it on mute when you're not talking.
Got it.
Excellent. Yep, that seemed to do it. Okay. So you did a heal.
Yeah, for 7 plus 3, so that's 10 health back.
Right.
And I believe he's at full health right now, right?
Yep. So what's your plan? What are you guys gonna do?
Well, first of all, Caden is really enraged that these goblins are eating halflings. So with our prisoner, Caden fixes his eyes on him and says through gritted teeth, "What about this thing?"
I ask him when is his leader coming back? How long do we have to wait for him to come back?
I don't know when Tarp will come back. Anytime now.
Then we should wait somewhere and make this one shut up, just like gag him or something, and tie him up so he doesn't run.
I feel like we should go, if we can, secure the other halfling and send him on his way before we set up an ambush.
Wait, can you remind me where the bear is? Where is the bear right now? Where's Smiley?
The bear sleeps inside the windmill.
So we have to get through to the halfling, go through the bear. So we have to kill the bear too.
Alright, yes, we'll just take care of the leader now while he's coming back.
We should just like take a rest, set up an
Well,
ambush or something like that.
Who usually kills the halflings? Is it the leader or is there someone else that does it?
He kind of looks around at you and he goes, Tarpo always kill the halflings. Me know how to kill halflings. Tarpo make me kill halflings. Tarpo make me eat them. They taste yucky."
Caden spits on the ground next to him.
Well, I'm gonna secure this one so we don't have. I'll use my 50-foot rope. Yeah, secure him next to a tree and bound his mouth with something.
He right before you, or as you're tying him, and before you put the gag in his mouth, he says, "Why you tie up Wart? Why you tie up Wart?" And he kind of says this louder than he's been talking. He's been getting progressively louder, and he actually kind of leans his head back a little bit, and he goes, "Why you tie up Wart?"
To keep you warm, because it's going to get cold real soon, and it's windy, so you don't want you to fly away.
I just got a strange look from our newspaper delivery person. I'm sitting on my front porch, which runs right along the sidewalk, and as I was doing that voice. That's fun. All right. I need you guys all.
Do you not believe me or anything? You just keep screaming?
No, he just screams that out before you get the gag in his mouth. And
Can Caden shout? Can Caden say that he's warning the others?
Probably is.
Go ahead and roll perception. All of you roll perception check.
I have a 15.
I have an 8.
I got a 6.
15 plus 3, actually.
I might start using my dice now.
14.
I got an 18.
All right, so Caden, you're the only one that seems to notice this. As they get the gag in his mouth, you see movement up at the windmill by the door. You're not sure what it was, but you saw it looked almost like something was peering out around the door, and as you glanced up, it disappeared behind the door again.
So it was definitely, would I notice if it was humanoid?
You rolled what, an 18?
Yeah.
You noticed, you caught a glimpse of yellowish skin.
What has yellowish skin?
It looks just like the skin of the goblins in front of you.
Ah. There's more inside then.
Would the screaming wake up the bear? He said he was resting in the windmill. Is the windmill near, or?
Yeah, the windmill's just about 30 feet behind you,
Oh, yeah.
or rather on the other side of you, and that's where Caden saw the movement.
So would the bear wake up from the screaming? He said he was resting.
You don't know.
No.
From where you are, you can't tell.
Okay.
Okay, so, the other goblin's gagged, yes? Or prisoner goblin that's gagged?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there any high windows or anything in this?
There isn't. Well, I mean there is, but let's see, probably about 60 feet up. There's a couple of window slits on the sides opposite the windmill propeller.
So,
But there's nothing the full height up. It's just all stone walls.
alright, so it can't be climbed.
Well, it's rough stone. I wouldn't say that it can't be climbed. With enough determination, anything can be climbed.
Yeah. If I was to climb up, would that be acrobatics, or is that athletics?
It would actually be athletics.
Well, anyway, I definitely tell everybody what I saw, and I said there is more goblins, and something's not right.
I feel like we should ready an attack then. Get ready to charge in because I don't think the leader's coming anytime soon and we're about to face the goblins inside.
All right, so what do you guys want to do?
Caden agrees.
Orsic also agrees.
All right,
If
so
you
you guys
really
wanna-
want to...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if he really wants to climb, I can use Bardic Inspiration to give him a slight bonus. Just an extra d6, though.
All right, it's your move, guys. You guys want to try to climb? Do you want to move to the door? Try to...
Okay, so
Well, if he can climb up and get a advantage inside what's going on, we would have a better chance. So I think climbing would still be a good idea.
okay, so Caden's gonna do this. He's gonna climb. Okay.
All right. You have 25 feet movement, correct?
Yes.
And climbing counts as difficult terrain, so you basically get half movement. I'm just looking at how long it's going to take you to climb. It'll take you a few minutes to climb. So you just need to roll an athletics check to see if you can do it, and you do have Rogar's going to give you Bardic Inspiration, which allow you to roll a d6 with your d20. Basically, the way the Bardic Inspiration works is you can roll the d20 and see with your modifier, your athletics modifier, what that gets you. And before I tell you whether you pass or fail, then you can decide. So if you roll really low, you might say, you know what, I want to add this d6. But if you roll a 20, you might go, you know what, I don't need it. And you can save it, because the Bardic Inspiration lasts for the next 10 minutes.
Okay. Right, I'll give this a try. I got a 1, so can I reroll?
Well, you're a halfling, so you can re-roll that one.
Yeah. So. Okay, I got a 13.
And then what's your...
My athletics is +1.
So that is a 14. So now you have to decide, before I tell you whether that's good enough, if you want to roll that d6 and add more numbers to it.
Right.
Roll more numbers.
Yeah, okay, I'll roll another number.
So roll a d6.
Okay. So that was a 1.
So that puts you to 15.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you rolled that extra die, because you needed a 15 to succeed on this climb.
Nice.
I was trying to give you that option without giving it away. But,
Yes.
yeah. So this,
Yeah, thank you.
this stone windmill is the stone is old. It's rough. Some of the mortar in between the stones is pulled away. It's hard work. It's definitely hard work, and you got to climb up about 60 feet. But it helps that the walls of the windmill actually kind of angle in, so it's narrower at the top. I don't know if you guys can see how well you can see this, but that's kind of what the windmill looks like. So after
Okay, he's climbing up. As he's climbing up, he's going, please don't fall. Please don't fall.
So after a few minutes of very hard work, you've worked up a sweat, but your nimble fingers and toes have gotten you up to the window slit, where it looks like it's... If you weren't a halfling, if you were, say, a dwarf or a human, you wouldn't be able to fit through this window.
Yeah.
So it's probably best that you were the one that went up, because you are able to fit through this window.
Okay, so Caden takes his breath. Takes some breath. And he says, thank you, God. And then he slowly moves inside to get away.
All right, so as you get inside, let's pause there. What are the rest of you doing once he climbs in the window? You just waiting for him?
I feel like we would sneak in and see what we could see. In case anything goes bad in there, we could help him out.
Okay. There's a couple things I want to do right here before you guys sneak in.
Or give us all D20s.
We're going to take a quick, just a real quick break in a moment here for restroom. We're a little bit past the halfway point, but I don't think I can make it another hour.
Okay.
But the other thing is, I'm going to read you the first portion of the first sentence from the player's handbook on the credits page. If you're unaware, every one of these books has a small disclaimer. Wizards of the Coast is not responsible for the consequences of splitting up the party. So as we take a quick break, I'll leave you with that thought as as Caden is about to go in the top floor of the
We
windmill,
win!
and the rest of you are about to split the party and go into the windmill. Let's take
No,
a
we
real
win.
quick. Let's take a real quick break.
We're not really split if it's the same windmill.
I'm
Oh,
going to mute and turn my camera off. When I'm back, I'll have my camera back on. So take 3 or 4 minutes and do what you got to do, and we'll be right back.
How about 5 minutes? Make it even.
All right, we'll just make it an even 5 minutes. And looks like we got 2 viewers. So if you're watching this right now, hang tight. We're going to be back in 5 minutes.
Great.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for the others to come back, if you are watching now, thank you. Just a reminder, this is MTD Presents Pray for Smiley Bob. It's a 5th edition D&D one-shot based on a 4th edition adventure in Dungeon Magazine, number 205, written by Chris Perkins. I am Jake from Mini Terrain Domain. You can check out my YouTube channel, Mini Terrain Domain, for videos on crafting dungeon terrain for tabletop games, as well as... Whoops, hold on. I left my... the YouTube video in the background was speaking in my ear. And you can also watch live games like this. I'm a part of the Tabletop One-Shot group on Facebook, and will occasionally be hosting games for beginners, as well as all skill levels and different levels, as well as I'm going to try to run more games like this on weekend mornings and afternoons to accommodate our friends closer to the GMT time zone and those that are overseas, of which we have 2 of those players today, and we're glad to have them here. You can also find Mini Terrain Domain on Facebook, facebook.com/Mini Terrain Domain. As I said, it's a combination of terrain crafting for tabletop games. A lot of times when I play my games in person, I have crafted dungeon terrain that I've built. And on my channel, I show you how to do that. So as soon as the other guys get back here, we will continue with the adventure, as they have just split the party. We'll see how that works out for them. Looks like we got Paul and Robert are back. What are you guys thinking so far?
Yeah, we're gonna win.
Now, have you played 5th edition before, Paul? Remind me.
I played like 2 games.
Okay.
This will be my 3rd.
And how about you, Robert? We didn't get to talk to you at the beginning. Have you played before?
Not a 5th edition. This is like my 2nd or 3rd game.
Okay. Have you been playing other role-playing games or other Dungeons & Dragons?
Pathfinder and 4th edition.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, this is actually... if you look at the sheet that I'm playing from, it won't give anything away. You should recognize the stat block then as the classic 4th edition stat block. So, yeah, we'll just wait for... is that Lovro, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, and we're just waiting on Brian real quick, and then we can get going. I don't know if you can see on my screen, I'm trying to block the sunlight out from this window, but it's hit that point where for about the next probably 10 minutes or so, it's going to be shooting down in my face, and it has gotten about 15 degrees hotter out here.
I'm back.
All right,
Okay.
we are back. So, Caden has just climbed into the window at the top of the old windmill, and the rest of the party has decided that they want to sneak in to the base of the windmill. So, as we return to the adventure, the 3 of you are going to attempt to sneak into the base of the windmill. So, how are you going to do this?
Should we just like go and see through the door, or if the door is opened, see if we can see any goblins or the bear sleeping? To see if there's any barrels we can hide behind or something like that. Case that or something.
Yeah, that'll be probably best. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say the door is standing slightly ajar. It is a solid wooden door with no window in it, so you'll have to sneak up to the edge and try to peer through into the windmill. So who wants to do that?
My sneak is not the highest, so I'll pass if it's okay.
My rolls have been the lowest, so I'll pass.
By process of elimination, I think the bard's just been nominated.
Apparently. So you want me to roll stealth?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a stealth.
15.
Okay, you are able to get up to the edge of the wall with your back to the wall, and the door is open a good 6-8 inches, so you're able to kind of lean over and peer into the darkness. Definitely compared to the outside, it seems pretty dark in there. But as a dwarf, you have dark vision, which will allow you to make out in black and white what you see. And what you do see is that inside the windmill, there's already a kind of a musty smell coming through the door. It's a pretty wide open space, and you can see droppings and animal bones littering the floor. You catch a glimpse of the millstone that looks like it's probably being used as some kind of a crude table. You can see some wooden bowls and some some bones, and a little bit of leftover meat that's unidentifiable. You catch the glimpse of a dirty staircase that's leading upwards, and at the base of the stairs, you can see as its hulk rises and lowers rhythmically in its sleep, a large brown bear with a very distinct scar running across its jaw that sleeps at the base of the stairs.
I would return to the group and relay the information.
Okay. Since you're a halfling, I don't think you. I think you should hide.
He's a dwarf.
Oh.
The halfling's upstairs at the
Oh,
window.
then halfling should be fine. Hopefully.
Well, actually, let's do that while you guys figure out what you're going to do with this information. Let's cut to Caden. You climb in the window, and what you see is there's some cracks in the wall, and there's a couple other window slits through which slivers of sunlight are cutting through, and there's dust churning in the air, illuminated by the sunbeams. And you can see that there is, in the sunlight, there's a little thatched bed that looks to be about the size for a goblin. And there's a small fire pit with a makeshift spit over it. And you see in the corner of this room, with crude ropes tied around her arms and legs and a gag in her mouth and a blindfold, you see a dirty halfling female. And as she hears you coming through the window, she starts shaking.
Okay, Hayden quickly does like this.
And she, because she's bound and gagged and blindfolded, her ears she kind of cocks her head to the side, and she's just. Oh.
So I can't see any goblins.
You do not see any goblins up here.
Okay, so just to be cautious, Hayden is going to slowly tiptoe over to her.
All right.
Her name is that Pumpkin? Is that the woman called Pumpkin?
You don't know. Do you ask her?
Yeah.
So when you say, is that Pumpkin, you see her head start shaking.
Okay, so Keaton comes in behind her and says, "We're here to help." And he picks out his dagger and starts to cut the rope.
So you're able to cut her loose pretty quickly. And as soon as you get her loose, she kind of looks around, and she's looking around for goblins, and she looks at you and she just throws her arms around your neck and she says in kind of a hoarse voice, "Thank you so much." She says,
"You're welcome. You're welcome. We'll get you out of here."
"But the goblins."
We've killed 6.
Did you kill Tarpu?
No.
They've kept me in here for so long, bound and gagged, but I could hear them. And I know that they were going fishing, and they kept talking and making fish and halfling stew. They ate, and she starts crying, "They ate Happy!" And she kind of buries her face in your chest. And we'll cut down to the others downstairs now. So back to the 3 of you downstairs. What are you going to do?
Who? No one's connected to nature here, right?
No.
No, unless you're gonna say music's nature.
Tame the beast, man.
I would, but I don't got any spells left. Oh wait, no, I have one, don't I? Could I stand at the doorway and cast sleep on it?
You want to cast sleep on the sleeping bear?
Oh, right. I thought it was awake.
Heavy sleep.
I mean, you could try to cast. I mean, he's not magically asleep.
Yeah, that's.
You could attempt to do that, and you should have. I mean, I don't know what they are, but you should also have 3 cantrips besides your spell slot. Cantrips don't require you to use any spell slots.
Is one of your cantrips magically win?
I can make fun of it and do damage to it.
You mean, like vicious mockery?
Vicious mockery.
Use harsh language.
You want to viciously mock the sleeping bear.
I'll curse in an endorphin, and then it'll chase me, and you guys can run up the windmill.
That works.
So you can attempt to sleep the bear.
How about one of us walks up to the bear and talks to it? I don't think that'll work.
Yeah. Talking with animals.
I mean, it's your choice what you guys want to do.
Did we leave the other goblin tied up, or did we just kill him?
I think you guys just left him tied up.
Well, I don't have a rope. Can I go back and kill the goblin, then bring the rope back?
Yes, you absolutely can do that.
I mean, we need a rope. Unless anyone else has a rope.
I don't, sorry.
I do, but I'm upstairs.
I just shout out, "Hey, drop the rope!" Anyone else got a better idea?
No, I could always, like, poke it, run away, and you guys can try to sneak upstairs.
That would be a 3-way split, and I know we shouldn't do that.
Well, I could run upstairs, do my thunder wave, knock the bear down the stairs. That should kill it.
We also don't want
the bear's already on the ground floor. It's at the bottom of the stairs.
I know, I was planning to jump over the bear, have it chase me.
Oh, I got
You want to wake it up?
Your rope plans sounds okay now.
I feel like we should try to save it, not kill it yet.
I have a suggestion, but my guy's not there, so.
Damn it.
Throw a note out the window.
Yeah, that's how it works.
All right. You guys got an idea what you want to do?
Wait, who wanted to kill the goblin before?
Mm.
If anybody wanted to kill the goblin before, I would make that happen.
Yeah, I think we can kill the goblin. We don't need him anymore.
Okay. So, I walk back to the goblin. I tell him I'm very sorry, but I kind of need the rope back.
Because you've gagged him, his eyes just get really wide, and he kind of shakes his head, and he's like,
Wait, we could just knock him out and then take the rope.
That's a better idea.
I don't want to seem overly bloodthirsty when we make a song about this.
That's also another idea. Wait, could I stuff him into my bedroll and then use 10 feet, cut 10 feet of my 50 feet rope and tie him up inside a sack?
yes, you can do that.
I do that then. So I don't kill him, but he won't get away.
All right, that sounds like a plan. So you're able to cut 10 feet of rope off and stuff him in your bedroll, make a makeshift sack. I picture him having this bedroll wrapped all around him, and you've tied rope around it, and it's kind of like just his head is sticking out the top.
Yeah.
All right, you are successful.
So in this time, am I able to do anything?
Yeah. So while that happens, let's cut back to you.
Awesome.
Okay.
So we're back to Caden upstairs, and Pumpkin has just started sobbing into your chest.
Okay. I asked her, "Can you fly?"
And she says, "I think so. Is it safe? If Tarpoo's still out there, it might not be safe."
So, okay, Caden walks to the door and checks to see if it's locked.
There is no door, actually. What you see is the stairs there's stairs that spiral up, and there's a little bit of a railing as the stairs spiral up and reach the top there.
So I can look down. Do I see anything? See the bear and the...
You look down the stairs, and it kind of spirals down, but you can see at the bottom of the stairs the bear asleep, and you actually see a goblin standing on the stairs about halfway down, but his attention seems to be focused strictly on the front door of the mill. And while you're looking down, Pumpkin, she taps you on the shoulder, and she points over to the corner and shows you that under a pile of old rags, she kind of pulls them away, and she shows you this box. And you can see that in there is a bunch of halfling clothes and wigs, like that are really bad wigs. And Pumpkin tells you Tarpu makes the goblins dress up like halflings, and that's how he's been training the bear.
Okay.
And then within the box, she's kind of digging around in it. She pulls out a scarf, and she kind of starts crying a little bit. And she goes, "This was Happy's." And then she pulls out a small wooden box that she finds and hands that to you.
Okay. So,
And she just kind of, as she hands that to you, she just kind of holds this scarf and just kind of clutches it to her heart.
Caden looks at this box and he opens it.
The wooden box is an unlocked box. It looks like a small, like a almost like a cigar box, I guess. But there's no lock or anything on it. You can feel something shifting around inside as you move it.
So am I able to look inside then?
Yep.
See what it is?
Yep. You find 300 silver pieces and an amethyst gem that looks like it could be worth about 100 gold pieces.
Okay. So Caden looks at this and he says, "Wow, I hope we live this. I hope we live them. I hope we live this to spend all this." And he picks the heavy box and spikes it. So, with the goblin, how far away would he be down the stairs?
The goblin he's about 25 feet away down the stairs.
Could I see? Can I see the door slightly ajar then, with the light coming through?
You can see light coming through, but you can't see the door itself because of the angle.
Okay, so I don't know what the. So Kagan definitely knows that this is a trap. And how far is the goblin away from me?
The goblin's about 25 feet from you down the stairs.
So I could try and sneak up on him.
You could. Alright, let's cut back to the other guys. So you guys have your...
See, so
you have 40 feet of rope.
So I'm walking back to the door, and I'm thinking, why hasn't our teammate come out of the window yet? For no reason, just thinking that out loud.
And all of this, as we're cutting back and forth, all of this is happening simultaneously. So however much time has passed for you guys is the same amount of time. So it has been, though, about 5 minutes or more.
Sorry.
So
I do anything again, or is that done?
Give me a second.
all right, what was that?
Can I do anything, or is that be done?
I just got you on pause for a second while we see what these guys are going to do.
Because
Yeah, sorry about that. I was choking.
I do want to go in the window and, guys, I have her, you know.
I mean, you made out of game. You already made yourself go down like to the
Well,
stairs.
he's at the top of the stairs.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I'm not
would-
on top of the stairs. I was just looking to see what it was.
You would
Yeah,
be.
and that's where we're paused.
You wouldn't be near the window to hear me quietly yell for you.
Yeah. So all right. So what are you
So
going to
I'm
do?
walking. I'm walking back to the rope, with the rope to the door, and I think I asked dwarf. Wait, the bard. Who's the magic user? The one that has sleep? Yeah. Okay. I asked the bard to. I'm going to walk up to the bear and put the rope around its neck. So If it starts waking up, how would your sleep work exactly? Would it put it back to sleep, or would it take a while for it to go back to sleep? And if the DM could help that out too, that would
Yeah.
be great.
So the way that sleep works is he can target any creatures within 20 feet of him, and he gets to choose. So it's not just an area effect. So he can choose to not put you to sleep.
That's
And
good.
what he'll do at first level is he will roll 5d8. And that is the total number of hit points that are affected, starting with the lowest and working up from there. So let's just say he rolls 30. Then I look at the hit points of any creatures that are nearby, including the bear, and see how many hit points. And if it's enough, each creature goes to sleep. If it's not enough, then they don't.
Oh. So it either has to match or be more than the hit points that the bear has?
Correct.
Hmm.
So, following that logic, it's not a guarantee that he's going to put the bear to sleep. It's
No.
likely, but not a guarantee. Because, quite frankly, though I would love to see it, you could roll 5 ones on those d8s.
I know I could. Um. Does anyone have meat other than me? Because I have rations.
I think I have them in my priest pack.
Did you just say, does anybody have meat?
Yes.
Well, just as a reminder, there are 5 dead goblins outside.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
There's one live one too. If
Yes, there's one live goblin.
How about you can pick halfling foods on.
can I do a perception check inside the room to see if there's anything else I can use?
So you're going to walk up to the door and look in yourself then?
Yeah.
All right. Roll stealth and then roll perception.
So stealth is 12.
Now roll perception.
When I'm actually looking at stealth. Yep. And perception. $16.
Okay. So, as you go to the door and peek in, what's your armor?
Oh, that is not important. That isn't important at all.
So, I'm going to assume you're wearing chainmail.
No, yes.
Are you wearing a helmet?
No.
All right. Well, as you lean in to look inside, your chain catches on a nail that was sticking out, and it kind of pulls against your armor and pulls the door kind of up against you and causes the rest of your chain to kind of rattle and clatter.
Oh,
But because your perception was so good, you can clearly see the goblin that is standing on the stairs and the 2 other goblins that are standing in the shadows of the room.
okay, so
They then step forward, and the one on the stairs, he actually takes a couple steps forward with his sword pointed at the haunch of the bear,
oh god.
as if to poke it, and the other 2 step forward holding scimitars. In just a quick second, why don't you guys go ahead and roll, but don't tell me yet. Roll for initiative.
Okay.
And then
Could
we're
I
going
do
to cut.
something before that happens?
Tell me what it is, and I'll tell you if you can do it.
I'm gonna shout, "Wake up, Smiling Bob," and close the door and hold the door against it.
Because you failed your stealth, I will allow you to shout, but you're also caught on the door, so you're not going to be able to close it this round.
Okay.
But you can shout, "Wake up, Smiley Bob." Let's see, 7. And then let's cut back up to Caden real quick. So this is actually taking place a moment before the door opens and you hear this clattering. So you don't know any of that is about to happen. I believe you said you wanted to attempt to sneak down toward the goblin.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to attempt that, you need to roll a stealth check.
So that's a 3.
Sorry, did you say that was a 3?
That's a 3.
All right.
Plus
So
3.
you get about 3
It's 6.
plus 3. Okay. So you get about 6 stairs down, and it's going well. And you get to that 6th step, and all of a sudden you hear as the stair just squeals under your weight. At that same moment, at the front door, you hear a commotion as the door kind of rattles and clangs, and then you see the goblin in front of you take a couple steps toward the bear, and then you hear your human friend Eric yell out, "Wake up, Smiley Bob!" So go ahead and roll for initiative, and let's see what everybody got.
I got a 5.
That's Eric.
I know. Yeah, amazing, right?
I got 18.
That's
Modified 20.
I got a 12. 20.
All right. What'd you get, Caden?
I got a 12.
Well, and Pumpkin is kind of standing on the stairs behind you, and she's just kind of looking, and she kind of looks at you, and she holds her hands like this, indicating that she has nothing in her hands. But she kind of has this fierce look in her eyes, like she wants to fight, but she doesn't have a weapon.
Okay. Well, okay. Caden hands her his short sword.
All right. All right, Pumpkin is in the initiative order. So, Rogar, you are going to be first, followed by Orsig, second, followed by Caden third, followed by Pumpkin fourth, followed by...
In hindsight, this was a really good idea.
Followed by the Goblins fifth, and in last in the order is going to be Eric.
Yay!
Even though he's the one in the doorway.
Yeah! I'm gonna be dead.
So, Rogar, your friend is in the door between you and the bear and has just yelled at the bear to wake up. What are you going to do?
Unhook me, man!
Well, I walk up and say, well, I'm glad you went with my scare the bear plan. Brave for letting him chase you.
It looked like a good idea at the time.
I'm gonna cast Blade Ward on myself and then just walk in.
So you kind of push past Eric stuck on the door. And you're not hopelessly stuck, Eric. You'll be able to, without spending an action, you'll be able to release yourself from the door.
I know.
It was just enough that it kind of snagged on it and pulled it. You're not like hung up on it. All right, so you cast Blade Ward and walk into the room. Orsig.
I follow him into the room, but I take my shield out and my warhammer into one hand.
All right, you are able, when you walk in, you can see that the bear is actually surprisingly not awake. It's still sleeping at the foot of the stair. There is a goblin standing above it, looking as if he wants to prod it with his sword, and there are two goblins within range of you that you'd have to walk to them. About 10 feet into the room, there's 2 more goblins with scimitars. So you can choose to engage something this round.
Would if I threw up my shield at the goblin who's trying to poke the bear, would that wake up the bear? Do you know? Do I know?
If you throw your shield at it?
Yeah. If I to disarm him.
You can attempt that. You don't know
Oh.
if it'll wake the bear, but you are throwing a large metal shield over a bear at a goblin.
No, then I'll just wait. I think he'll wake up if it falls down. Clanks.
Okay, so you're just going to stand your ground and ready in action?
Yeah.
So what you can do, because you're not actually taking an action, is this is called holding your action. So it basically becomes a reaction. So you can choose if something makes an attack or lunges at you or tries to do something, then you will act at that point.
Oh, okay. Then I'll hold my action.
Okay. So and you're keeping an eye on the goblin that wants to poke the bear?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then that takes us to Caden. You're on the stairs up above the one goblin. Pumpkin behind you.
Okay, so I will shoot at this goblin.
All right. It's a little tricky of a shot because you're on a spiral staircase. So you're going to need to roll with disadvantage because you're shooting down through a spiral staircase.
Okay, would it be any difference with that with the light crossbow?
No, it's just the angle is really difficult. It's basically let me just check something real quick, because what's really going on here is I want to do this the right way. He is basically partially in cover. So the stairs are essentially giving him cover, which is let me find that real quick. Okay, never mind. You do not roll with disadvantage. You'll roll normal, but because I'm going to call this half cover, the goblin actually has a bonus to its AC.
Okay.
So you have to roll a little bit higher to hit it.
I got a 10 plus 7.
Your arrow thunks into one of the wooden stairs.
So it has to be higher.
Yes, much higher. So Pumpkin is going to go, and Pumpkin is actually going to shove past you on the stairs with the...
Right.
Would you give her a short sword?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's going to shove past you, and she is going to run right up behind this goblin. And she takes a wild swing at it, and you hear the sword clang as it hits the railing of the stairs behind the goblin, and she misses. It is now the goblin's turn.
Now I would just like to say, I'm stuck behind the door. That gives me partial cover, right?
You're not behind the door so much as you are in front of the door. Because as you were leaning in, it was the inside part of the door that you got caught in.
Oh.
So you're right, there's partial cover, but it's the door that is partially covered by you.
Oh, okay. The door be safe.
The goblin on the stair, he does glance back at Pumpkin, but doesn't seem too perturbed by the halfling that just missed him with the sword. And he takes his sword, and he is going to poke the bear. Before I tell you what he does, because Orsig, you readied an action in case the goblin pokes the bear, you see him lunging at the bear with his short sword.
Can I try to charge at him and try to like knock him away from him with my warhammer?
You can do that, but you're going to have to leap over the bear.
Gracefully.
For a dwarf.
That's fine. You can do that. Dwarves are made for jumping.
Yeah, I can try that. Yeah, I think if I jump him over the bear, he might not wake up.
So I need you to do an athletics check to jump over the bear.
You could also throw your hammer.
Yeah, but that is the same thing with like the shield. So it might wake him up if it falls to the when it falls to the ground.
All right.
Ooh, I rolled a 20. And
You rolled a 20?
Yeah, and my acrobatics is 0, so it's just a
So
bit.
beautiful.
So you see him preparing to do this, and you lunge towards the bear. You take about 3 steps, and then you just leap. And it looks like in the movies when it's slow motion, your feet kick behind you, and you got your warhammer over your head, prepared to bring it down, and you need to roll the attack now.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
I rolled a 19, and my strength is +2, and proficiency +2, so that's...
Murder him!
So,
20,
as you guys see this happening almost in slow motion, as Orsic the War Cleric leaps through the air and brings his warhammer over his head, the goblin's eyes grow wide as your warhammer comes down on top of his head, and the already short goblin gets about a foot shorter as you crush his head and his spine. And go ahead and roll damage just to see if you kill him.
8 + 2, so that's 10.
Oh, yeah, you crush his head and his spine. His head is it's a lot like when Gallagher hits watermelons with his wooden sledgehammer. This goblin's head just comes apart like a watermelon, and you manage to land because of your 20 athletics. As you bring your warhammer down, you come down with cat-like grace on the stairs, making virtually no sound. And there's a slight stirring as the bear just kind of grunts in its sleep. And continues to sleep.
Nice.
And silently cheers.
That was fantastic. So the other 2 goblins are now going to take their turn. So the one on the stair is dead. There's 2 in the room. I'm trying to remember, Rogar, you walked in and cast Blade Ward, correct?
Yes.
So there's 2 of you, well, 1 of you in the room and 1 of you by the door. So the first goblin is going to come up to Rogar, and he is going to swing his scimitar at you, and your Blade Ward gives you resistance, which means any damage, if you take damage, will be halved. So he brings that sword down at you, and he must just be so terrified by what he just saw that he swings wildly and brings his scimitar, swings in a wide arc, and actually clangs against the floor. Yeah, I rolled a 2 for him, so there was no way he was going to hit you. The other goblin comes up to Eric on the door, and as you're struggling against the door for a moment, you kind of lower your head as the scimitar. He was swinging high for you, aiming for your head, and the scimitar thunks into the door, and he misses you. And it is now your turn, and you have a goblin directly in front of you.
I unhook myself from the door. That's minor. and at the same time swing my blade into its neck.
All right, roll the attack.
17 to hit.
That is a hit. That is a hit. Roll damage.
Oh, it's a 20. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8 damage.
Your blade finds its home in his neck, and there's a quick spray of arterial blood as the goblin slumps to the ground dead.
I did it, guys.
Nice.
And we are back to Rogar.
So there's one in front of me that just missed, right?
That is correct.
I'm gonna try to slash at him with my longsword. 14? Yeah, 14.
You slash with your longsword, and he, having missed you, he seems to have gotten his senses about him, and he kind of ducks under your blade. Orsig, you are up. You are now on the stairs above the bear. And there is a halfling female directly behind you. And you actually see a little further up on the stairs is your halfling friend, Caden.
Could I cast Bless to everyone in the party actually, and not Pumpkin? And Bless gives them a D4 on their attacks and saving throws for 1 minute.
Yep, you can do that.
Okay, then I'm using Bless.
So all of you except for Pumpkin on your remaining attack rolls and saving throws.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll a D4 along with your D20 and add that number as part of it. Because you have been blessed by Orsig the War Cleric. And it is Caden's turn.
Okay, so how far am I away from this goblin?
The one down on the floor, you're up on the stairs. You'd have to descend at least, you'd probably have to descend at least, actually you wouldn't have to descend any. From where you are on the stairs, he's down in the room, you can get a clear shot at him.
Okay, so I'm going to shoot at him.
Alright. So roll a D20 and a D4.
So that's 18. How D4s work? I've never used D4s before.
Whether the numbers are at the base or at the peak, but whichever number you can read normally. So this one has them at the peak, the one I'm showing on camera. So that would be a 3. But if your number is showing at the base, it would be whatever that number is.
Okay, so I got a 4, and then there's a +7 on that as well. So definitely a hit. Sure.
You got a 4 with your D4 and your D20?
I got an 18 with my D20.
You got a what?
18.
Plus the 4, plus the... Oh yeah, you definitely hit this thing.
Yeah. So I roll damage.
Yep, 1d8 plus 3.
Okay, so that is that's a 1 plus 3. So can I reroll that one?
No, that only works for D20 rolls.
Okay, so that's a 1 plus 3.
So that is a 4 points of damage. So your arrow sails down, and the rest of you see as this arrow kind of thunks into its shoulder from above. And it is Pumpkin's turn. And Pumpkin is going to leap over the railing and rush this goblin. And Pumpkin rolls an 18 against the goblin. And Pumpkin runs up to the goblin, and as a halfling, she's almost the same height as this goblin. And you see her, it's a clumsy move, but it's just been hit in the shoulder with an arrow. And with just this anger and she actually says, "For happy!" And she thrusts her sword into its throat and releases it, and the goblin falls clutching at the sword in its throat and just collapses on the ground dead. And believe it or not, through all of this, it's been relatively quiet commotion. Perhaps the bear...
Amazing.
Well, perhaps the bear is used to these annoying loud goblins and has grown accustomed to them. But the bear, believe it or not, is still asleep at the foot of the stairs.
Nice. That's the goal.
And you are out of combat.
Whew.
Good job, guys.
We survived that one.
All right.
And now we have a bear.
So, what are you going to do about this bear?
Could we tie him up?
Caden remembers that half of the people wanted to kill the bear, half the people didn't want to kill the bear.
Well, they think that the bear has been eating the halflings, and it's mostly the goblins have been doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and
maybe someone should have a peek outside to see if anything's coming.
Well, as you guys are just kind of looking around, you see the bear, its bulk kind of shifts, and you just see this. You hear this tremendous bass roar or bass sound as the bear's front paws extend out away from its body in just this tremendous stretch, and you hear. And it lifts up its haunches with its back legs first, and then it stands up on its front legs, and at its back, it comes up to Eric's chest, but it's taller than the rest of you on all fours.
Wait, what caused the bear to wake up?
It just woke up.
But
This is what the bear does.
bear,
As
you
it
suck.
wakes up, it's just kind of stretching, and it kind of turns its head, and it gives almost a quiet roar, not so much an angry roar. It just kind of goes,
Hey,
could I-
buddy.
and then
Am I cast sleep
looks,
on it?
it just looks around at each one of you. And you said you wanted to cast sleep?
I'll wait to see if it does anything, but I'm ready to see if it...
It doesn't.
Well, hey, buddy. How you doing?
It kind of looks at you, and it's just cocking its head at you.
Don't know if you can understand me, man, but I come to get you out of here. And I show him a dead goblin.
Yeah, I rush and open the door and try to tell him he's free. He can go wherever he wants.
Well, as you rush over and open the door, because as it stood up, you can get past it. And Eric, I believe you said you were going to show it a dead goblin.
Yeah.
So as you kind of indicate one of the dead goblins, it kind of shuffles over, and it paws at it, it sniffs at it, it licks at the blood, and then it kind of sits down on its haunches and looks at you. So if you want to continue talking to it,
I gotta roll nature?
you are going to roll... I will let you roll Persuade, Intimidate, or Nature.
How about animal handling?
Yes, you can roll Animal Handling. And what you are doing is, essentially, this is going to be a skill test. Anybody can... Now, the way this works is you're going to have to reach a certain number of successes before a certain number of failures.
I shouldn't be doing this.
If anybody wants to, help you, the way
can I
helping
help him?
works... Yes, the way helping works is you basically, that allows you to roll with advantage on these checks.
Can I help as well?
You can't stack advantage, so as long as one person's helping, it basically just gives you the help. So you guys are you? What are you doing to it? You're trying to calm it down and let it know you're its friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and roll animal handling with advantage.
16.
Yay!
That's nice.
So as you first start talking to the bear, especially having just given it some food, it cocks its head at you and just kind of goes, "Whew." So that was a successful attempt.
Now I want to
go
pet it.
ahead. On your second attempt, you want to try to pet it.
Yeah. Show
Okay.
them friendly.
All right. So go ahead and roll another check.
19. Yes.
Nice.
It watches your hand as you reach out for it, but it allows you to stroke its head.
I'm gonna get a pair. Now that I said that, I'm gonna fail the next one.
How did the
so-
bear react to this, Jacob? Does it, you mean it's because we're showing it kindness? It's probably not
It-
for that.
So as you're stroking it for a second, at least for a moment, you see it kind of tilt its head, kind of leaning into your hand a little bit. Go ahead and roll your third check.
3.
Oh.
As you're
There goes
petting
your
it, your hand kind of absent-mindedly draws across. You kind of pet it the side of its head because of the way it's tilting its head, and your hand absent-mindedly grazes across its scar, and it jerks its head away from you.
I tell it I'm sorry, and I try to comment. How many fails? It's 3 successes and 1 fail. 2 fails.
You don't know.
Okay.
I'll let you know when you succeed or fail.
All right.
So go ahead and roll another animal handling.
Okay. Aw. 5.
Damn.
What do I get for the bonus you get?
Are you rolling with advantage?
No.
Yes, I'm helping you.
Oh.
You should be rolling with advantage. So go ahead and roll another one.
1.
Oh.
Well, what about the other one? I didn't roll advantage the other one.
All right. So hold on. So go ahead and roll one more time for that first one you didn't roll advantage on.
Aw. 6.
Okay. So you've got 2 successes and 2 failures.
Oh my god.
I will tell you that this next roll, and remember to roll with advantage, because the bear has now, its hackles have kind of raised a little bit. Whatever you say to this bear is going to determine whether you have a bear or a fighting companion, or you've just made an enemy.
Bear, I love you, man. I love you. I don't want. Okay. 8. Oh, and the next one is 5. Damn it! Why?
I really, really wanted you to succeed at that.
I did too. It's not fair. I have worst rolls ever.
Oh, you know what? I misread the skill check. I was off, so it is not yet, and this isn't DM fiat or whatever. I actually just transposed some numbers. So I'm sorry. You do. The bear is very much. It seems to have turned a little bit from when you were petting it. It is not happy.
You know what? I'm gonna grab my dice real quick.
So you do get another attempt here.
Okay. I put my sword down, and I tell it, and open my arms in a hugging motion. Like, it's okay, man. I'm here for you. Don't worry. I won't abandon you. And I'm gonna roll my dice, because I don't believe in the digital anymore. I got 13. And the next one is a 10. So
Can I give him
13.
bardic inspiration?
Yes. I haven't
Alright.
told you what the DC is. So you can give him bardic inspiration.
Please
You
do.
can roll. You can roll a D6.
Yeah, I'm gonna start playing my drums to a really soothing beat.
All right, so roll a D6 and add it to that 13.
Oh, I do it?
Yeah,
Yep, you do. You do.
Okay. Let me grab my own dice. You know what? No, I'm gonna believe in it. I believe in you, Digital One. 2. Damn it! I believe in you.
You rolled a 2
Yeah.
on top of your 13.
Yes. Got
And the
13.
advantage, what's the advantage?
No, that was he had rolled a 13 and I think an 8.
Oh.
So, you actually that puts you at a success.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you are now at 3 successes and 3 failures.
Okay.
You got
This
this.
is the one. This is the one that is going to determine. His hackles go down, and he kind of, with a harumph, sets his butt back down on the on the floor.
Okay.
So
Do I still have Bard Inspiration or no?
no,
Damn
not
it.
unless he not unless he gives it to you again. Which I think you only get. You only had 2 of those, didn't you?
7. Oh god.
This one's gotta be good.
14! That's not it. That's not gonna be enough, is it?
So
No. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know.
So you can hear the bear is roaring.
Good? That's a good roll, right?
That's not a good roll.
That's not a good roller.
Oh
Well,
And the bear sits down on its forelegs and begins chewing away at the goblin in front of it.
yeah.
wait, that's,
How tense was that?
I thought it was gonna look at me and Pumpkin, you know.
yeah. We have 2 halflings here now.
It kind of put on a little bit of a display there when it started roaring. It got up on its hind legs, and then it just slumped back down and just starts happily gnawing at the goblin in front of it. And the way this works is you have successfully convinced this bear that you are friendly to it,
I got a bear!
and this bear will now, at least for the time being, will stay by your side and will act on your initiative, since you're the one that animal handled it.
I got me a bear.
So you guys can chill out with the bear. You can take a short rest if you would like. And the way that works is you can either use magic to heal yourselves or one another if you need it, or you can roll your hit die and add your Constitution modifier and restore that many hit points.
Okay, well,
Um,
I'm gonna do that because I've been hurt a little. So.
I feel
I'm on
like
full
we
health, so
I feel like we should all go grab all the dead goblins outside and the live one and bring them in here and set up a trap for the leader when he gets back before we rest.
You can actually do that as part of your rest.
Okay.
It's minor enough effort to pick up these goblins that I'll allow it for the rest period. It's only going to take you a few minutes.
I have a question.
Yes.
I know they wouldn't let me do this, like, by their description, but could, like, I cast Cure Wounds or Healing Word on the bear to, like, heal up its scar? So it just
Cool.
looks like a regular bear?
It would take a higher level spell to be able to do that.
Alright, I thought so.
A Cure Wounds isn't really going to do that.
Alright.
Do you... Oh, you didn't cast Sleep, did you? I was going to say, do you even have spell slots left? But you never cast your Sleep, did you?
No. He doesn't cast sleep at all.
All right. So you guys are resting, and you have some time. First of all, let me just check. It's 10:55 here. We're kind of at the end of the official start time or end time. But are you guys all good to continue on? We probably got about maybe another half hour or so.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay, I'm fine with that too. So we will continue on. You have some time, like you said, if you guys want to formulate a trap or an ambush, go ahead and figure out what you want to do.
Jacob, what do I need to do to heal up?
So you are a fighter, so you have a D10 as your hit dice. So what you would do is you can either roll that D10 and add your Constitution modifier, or you can take the average, which is 6, and add your Con modifier. Which I believe your Con was +2.
Yeah, Constitution. I got a +4.
How do you have a +4 for Constitution?
I don't know. I may have
You're looking at your saving throws. This is based off of your actual Constitution would be +2 because you have a 14 for Constitution, right?
Yeah, it's here. Constitution +2.
So you can basically you roll a D10, add that number, add 2 to that, or you can take the 6 and add 2, so you would take 8.
What's the difference?
If you roll, you have a chance of rolling a 1 and only getting 3 hit points back. If you take the average, you're guaranteed to get 8. That's what when you see the numbers by hit points or hit dice and it says 1d10 but has a 6 next to it, that means you can take that as an average.
Okay. Well, I'll just do the 1d10 and just do 3 hit points back.
Alright, so roll a d10.
I got an 8 +2, so that's 10.
There you go.
So Hayden's just cutting up this.
Alright. So what do you guys want to do for a trap or an ambush?
So I was thinking of using my 40-foot rope that I didn't use on the bear and tying some barrels to the roof in front of the door so when the goblins open the door, these barrels will fall on top of the goblins.
Do we have barrels in there? Do we have barrels in there?
There were some barrels that we could hide behind.
Yeah, there's some barrels and there's 3 barrels in this room. They're empty.
Maybe we can hide in the barrels if we're small enough.
I mean, there's 3 of us, and once they come in, they're going to see the dead goblins.
Yeah.
I was thinking take as many out we can with the barrels, then we attack the rest that come back. Because I'm sure the leader went with some people.
So what are you wanting to do exactly with the barrels? Tie them where?
On the roof of the floorboard, so they would fall down when the door opens.
Okay. I'm looking at the Yeah, you can do that. You would be able to figure out a way to tie him up there.
So I got that handled. Anyone else want to do anything?
What are we gonna do with the living goblin, the one that's in the bag?
I want to bring him to the village so they can handle whatever they want to do with him as for some justice.
Okay.
Well, they'll probably want the leader if we get him alive.
We can try to get him alive too.
But yeah, we had a lot of halfling clothes, but I think the bear now knows that the goblins are the bodies. So maybe the bear might get agitated as soon as the goblins come in. Alright.
Well, the bear's gonna attack either way because the bear wants to. Bear does what it wants. I just feel like whoever's remaining from the barrel trap, we're gonna attack either way.
Yeah, go ahead with that. I think Hayden will go up to the top again, and he will look out to see if the goblins are coming. And as soon as they come, he'll tell the others to get ready.
Would it be alright if I, like, hide outside? That way, once they get in the doorway, we can, like, I can get behind them and we could kind of flank them?
I'm okay with that. That's up to your party to decide if that's a good plan.
Flanking would be a good idea too. Just you have to be hidden well enough to not get caught.
Well, I'm pretty stealthy for a dwarf. And I'm like one of the only people here that's not in chain or heavy armor.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you guys know what you want to do then?
I think we do. So we do what we said.
Jacob, do I have enough room from the window on the top to shoot?
Absolutely. So you want to go upstairs and keep an eye out?
Yeah.
And then Rogar is outside, hiding, and that leaves Eric and Orsig and the bear inside?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Someone's splitting.
after a little while, Rogar and Caden, you can see coming up over the hill from the north are a gang of 5 goblins. All of them are wearing piecemeal leather armor, and they're kind of laughing and joking amongst themselves. 2 of the goblins are carrying a small barrel between them, and 2 others are carrying fishing poles made from spears. And a 5th goblin walks in front of them, and he has his bow slung across his back and a quiver full of arrows. And he seems to be the leader of this group. And they are walking towards the windmill, just laughing and joking and
I ready my trap for when they get there.
All right, so as they get closer to the windmill, you see those of you outside or looking through the window. So Caden and Rogar, you see the leader. He stops and he holds up his hand. Oh, halt! And he's looking around and he goes, "Where are the others? I don't like this." And then he kind of looks towards the windmill, and he just goes, "Damn lazy goblins!" And then, yeah, he motions, "Let us get inside. I want to eat that other halfling." And they begin walking toward the windmill. They do not notice Rogar where you are hiding. And they do not notice Caden peering through the window. So as they approach the door, the leader is the first one to open the door and step inside. So yeah, those of you inside, you see the door open and goblins in the doorway.
I don't know if we agreed that if I would be holding the rope or the door would be, because I forgot as you were explaining it.
You tell me. Are you holding it or is the door?
I would like to be holding it, but I don't remember what I said at the beginning.
I don't think you did. I don't remember. So that's fine.
Okay, so I wait until like the leader and at least some others are inside and over the barrel, so I can drop them on to them.
Okay, so the leader steps in, and two more goblins carrying the fishing poles right behind him, and the other two are kind of outside still. So, because they failed their perception checks, you will get one round. We're going to go ahead and roll initiative, but you have the drop on these goblins, so you will all get to act once before the goblins ever get to roll. So let's go ahead and roll initiative. Did you just roll a 20?
Nice.
12.
I got a 10.
Right,
I got 17.
All right, so I got 17 for Caden. Eric, you have 20 what? Oh, your dex is 0, right? Or,
No, I got 1.
Okay, so 21. Orsig?
17.
17. Rogar?
12.
Orsig and Caden, I need you guys to just roll a straight D20 once again.
No, man.
20.
I got a 6.
Okay, all that does is determine which of the two of you is going to go first, because you rolled the same thing.
Right.
So who rolled the 2, Caden?
I rolled a 6.
Oh, you are 6. So, all right. So when we get into normal initiative order, it's going to be Eric, followed by Orsig, followed by Caden, followed by Rogar, followed by the goblins. And Eric, as a reminder, you do your attack, and then you will roll attack for the bear.
Okay.
I'll let you roll the attacks. I'll let you choose. I can roll attacks for the bear, or you can roll attacks for the bear. But the bear will go on your initiative.
We'll see how this digital thing works. It does
I wanted to give you the choice there. So, but right now,
What about Pumpkin? Is she attacking or is she rolling initiative or something?
you know what? Thank you for reminding me. So Pumpkin will actually go 5th. Then the goblins will go. So you guys got a decent initiative that the goblins are going last. So you're going to get 2 full rounds of action before they ever get to act.
Nice.
So we'll use the initiative order that you guys are in, minus the goblins. So Eric, you got first go as the goblins come through.
So I dropped the barrels.
All right. So
How does
what
that
I'm going
work?
to do
Okay.
is the 3 goblins that have come in the door are going to each make a dexterity save. And the first one fails. Second one succeeds. Okay. So as the barrels come crashing down, one of the goblins with the fishing poles, he actually kind of throws the poles at the other one and throws himself to the side. But the goblin boss, Tarpu, and the other one with the fishing poles, they take the full brunt of these barrels. So it's kind of an improvised weapon, but they're falling from a height. So why don't you go ahead and roll? Let's roll 2d6. Well, there's 3 barrels, right?
Yeah.
So roll 1d6 for each of the barrels. So 3d6 to determine how much damage they take.
10.
So these barrels come crashing down on top of these 2, and you see that one crashes across the back and shoulders of the leader and kind of drops him to his knees for a second. And the other goblin, the barrel hits him and breaks in such a way that you actually see one of the boards that broke. You just see that it gets, as the other barrel hits on top of it, it drives a plank from the barrel into his jugular, and he falls dead. And the other one dodged out of the way. It is now the bear.
So what? The leader die? Or
No, the leader
Okay.
did not die. One of the ones carrying fishing poles is dead.
Did he took damage though?
Yes, the leader did take damage.
All right.
So the bear, seeing this threat and seeing that you are attacking the goblins and that you've swayed the bear, and with the fresh blood of the kill, the bear will lunge at the goblins. So you can go ahead and roll that. My headphones are about to die, so I'm going to do a quick switch out here to a cable.
What's it? No, wait.
Okay. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
I got a 14, but what's the attack bonus for the bear?
So the bear gets to make 2 attacks. It's going to attack first with its bite and then with its claws, and it gets a +5 to each of those. So you rolled 14, you said?
Yep.
So on its first attack, it's going to attack the goblin boss, which is directly in front, and bite at him, and it successfully bites into him. So go ahead and roll a 1d8 +4.
Oh, and the other attack was the 13.
That's also going to be a success.
So 1d8, 7 plus 4, so 11 damage. Don't kill the boss, man.
So
Cool idea.
the bear bites into the boss, and it shakes its head violently and tosses the boss off to the side, where he lands in a crumpled heap. You don't know if he's alive or dead, but he's not moving. And it takes a swat with its claw at the other one that's still standing, the one that dodged out of the way. So roll 2d6 +4. This is a vicious bear.
You said +4?
Yep.
11.
So it swats with its claws and opens the belly of the other goblin, spilling its guts out on the floor, and he falls in the pile of his own entrails.
Yay!
We haven't even gotten to the second person initiative yet.
Oh, damn it!
Orsig, you are up.
Okay, so there's still 2 goblins left, right?
There's still 2 goblins holding a barrel, looking quite shocked, just outside the door.
Can I go check if the leader is dead?
Yes,
And
you
maybe-
can run over to the leader, and he is unconscious, He is not dead.
Okay, and can I use my crossbow to shoot at one of the guys holding a barrel?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll do that. So, 15 plus 2 for proficiency.
That
So
is a
that's
hit. That is a hit.
17. Nice. Now at least 3 plus 2, so I hit for 5.
So you hit the goblin, and I'm sorry, that was 5 you said?
Oh yeah.
So you hit the goblin kind of high up on his shoulder, above his chest, and cause him to drop the barrel, which lands on the ground between them and breaks, and it was full of fish. So the doorway is now covered in fish, so anybody moving through the doorway, that will count as difficult terrain. And you haven't killed the goblin, but you've wounded him pretty good. And it is now Caden's turn.
How many goblins left?
From the window, you can see, you hear the commotion downstairs, and you can actually see that as soon as most of them went in, you heard all this commotion, and then you see one of the 2 remaining outside get shot, drop the barrel, and you can see clearly both of those goblins down below you.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot it.
The one that's wounded or the one that's not?
The one that's not.
Okay.
So that's a 17 plus 7.
That's a hit.
That's a 2 plus 3, so that's 5.
So your arrow just misses hitting him in the head because he got lurched to the side a little bit when the barrel was dropped, but it drives hard into his shoulder for 5 points of damage. So the 2 outside are wounded. You guys standing watching what's happening from inside the mill, you see an arrow suddenly appear in the shoulder of the other goblin. And it is now Rogar's turn.
So there's still 2 that are sort of outside, right?
There are 2 outside the doorway wounded.
Well, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna kind of like use my longsword and I'm gonna hit the windmill and I'm gonna cast Thunderwave.
Nice. So that is
con
a
saves.
con save for each one of them. So that is... Oh boy. Yeah, they failed. A 3 and a 4.
Oh man.
So, go ahead and roll the 2d8.
12 damage.
12?
7-5.
After this arrow thunks into from seemingly nowhere, and Rogar, you see it, you guys hear a metallic clang of steel on stone, immediately followed by a tremendous peal of thunder that you've heard before from your friend Rogar. And you just see the 2 goblins that were in the doorway, plus the pile of fish, all just get blasted sideways away from the doorway. And Rogar, you see these 2 goblins, one crashes into the other, and about 10 feet away there is now a pile of 2 dead goblins in a bunch of fish. You guys, we didn't even make it through initiative order on the surprise round, and you are out of combat.
He starts to laugh hysterically and says, Rogar needs to teach me that spell.
I run over to the boss goblin to see if he's dead or not.
The boss goblin is unconscious. He is bleeding from a severe bear bite. The bear actually wanders outside and is eating at the pile of fish.
This doesn't
Could I
count. I rolled
use
20.
could I use spare the dying to like wake up the boss?
Wait, hold on. Before you do that, how about I grab my 40-foot rope and tie him up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So, spare the dying.
I make my way down with the others.
Okay. Yep. So the boss is stabled. He's tied up.
Okay.
Once you stabilize him and get him tied up. Sorry, I'm telegraphing my move. Pumpkin walks over to him. She spits in his face and she just socks him right in the nose.
After letting her do that, I tell her to hold that rage. We're bringing them both to the village so everyone can take care of them. However you guys please.
All right. She says, "The village will give him his justice."
And that's what we're counting on.
All right. So you guys are gonna take your. You've got 2 goblins tied up, the leader and one other goblin.
Yeah, the one in the back.
Oh.
You're gonna take them back to the village.
Yep. Take the bear back too.
So, all right. So you guys start. To walk away. The bear kind of has already made quick work of most of the fish that were laying there, and the bear follows along behind you guys, just kind of lumbering along. This big brown bear. Occasionally, as you're walking, it's not that far. You guys are only a couple miles away from the village. A couple times, the bear kind of comes in close to where you're carrying the goblin leader, and it gives a derisive snort and kind of snaps at it, but it doesn't do anything beyond that. And after a short while, you start to hear, as you approach the village, you start to hear some clamoring from the villagers that in the little hamlet of Riverslye, and you hear cries of "They return! They return!" And then you hear somebody, as you come over the hill and you can see the hamlet clearly. There's a couple little farmers there, and if they see the bear come over the hill behind you, they just drop their rakes and hoes and just stare with their mouths agape as you walk into their village with Smiley Bob behind you. And the villagers, they gather around you, and everybody, of course, gives the bear a wide berth. And
I tell them to relax. The bear means no harm. The goblins were misusing him, mistreating him, and he's actually a very good bear.
and
Just to show that it's safe, Caden puts a hand on the bear. I hope that's alright. He puts a hand on the bear just to show that it's safe. Otherwise, I think he would attack.
in clear view of all of the villagers, as you place your hand on the head of the bear, like a giant oversized cat, it just kind of nuzzles against your hand, and if a bear could purr, it makes a noise kind of like a purring sound. And the villagers are just astounded by this. And Pumpkin, she sees her family, and she comes rushing into the arms of her mother and her father, and some of the halflings are gathered around, and she's already breathlessly telling your tale to them, and it's kind of like at the end of Goonies, and she's like, and then they came in, and then they killed the goblins, and then they rescued me, and then they befriended the bear, and the bear ripped them apart, and the Riley, the storyteller, you can see he's got a quill out, and he's jotting down everything that she's saying, and basically they are beyond amazed at what you have done, and they throw the largest party that Riverslye has ever seen in your honor. And Riley, the storyteller, goes around to each of you, kind of interviewing you to get your take on the story. And
I tell him I hit everything. There was not a single miss. It was okay. One of my best works.
As the drinks begin to flow, Riley
ends for a copy of the story.
I was going to say, Riley actually spends some time, knowing you are a bard. Once he's gathered all of your tales, he spends the rest of the night. He grabs a bottle of a fine halfling spirits to share with you as he bids you to help him write the tales and songs of this adventure. You have secured your place in the history of this halfling village of Riverslye, and Riley and your own bard Rogar assure you that your tales will be told. So, I know a lot of times it's not necessarily common for the awarding of experience points and such at the end of a one-shot. But given that some of you are new players, I wanted to go ahead and award you XP in case you want to level your characters up and use them in future one-shots or for your own games. So I can tell you that between all of the enemies that you killed, let's see, there's 4 of you. You guys actually earned bonus points for taming Smiley Bob. Actually, just for attempting to even befriend him, you earned bonus points. So, with everything that you did is 100, 400, 425 experience points apiece.
Yeah.
Plus the 100 gold that the village raised for you to divide amongst yourselves. And then
plus that little box.
Caden, you had the 300 silver that if you want to divide that amongst your friends, and there was a gem worth 100 that you would be able to. So assuming you split assuming you split everything evenly.
Yeah.
Then the 300, so that's 50. You split that, so you guys basically end up with 50 gold pieces and 75 silver pieces each. And at full bellies, 400 and what did I say it was? 425 XP or 450? I don't remember now.
425.
425. So that's definitely enough to get you guys up to level 2. And this concludes our one-shot Pray for Smiley Bob.
We did it!
Yay.
I would like to thank each and every one of you for participating in this. I had a blast. I hope you guys did as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
Final thoughts, Brian.
My final thoughts. Yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed it. It's funny when you get ideas after you do something, and then maybe like, try it next time. Like when I got up to the very top, I thought, oh, I should have got the goblin armor on and pretended I was a goblin. Maybe that would have worked. But yeah, that was very cool. I enjoyed that.
Paul, final thoughts.
Google Hangouts dice system sucks, and you should never use it. It's all cheating, and no one likes it, and they should change that to make it better. Other than that, I like the story, and it was all good.
Lovro.
For my first ever game, this was excellent. It's more than I ever expected. It was really, really fun. And
Excellent.
I just want to say thank you for hosting this.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Robert.
This was fun. Thanks for letting me play. And every character from now on that I make is going to have Thunderwave.
I got to tell you, I've played. I actually in my ongoing campaign, I play in a group of 7 players with 1 DM, and I'm playing a Minotaur Bard using the Unearthed Arcana rules for Minotaur, and Thunderwave is one of my absolute favorite spells. I try anytime I have a character, and I love the way you incorporated it into with your sword. So that was awesome. I would encourage you guys to definitely keep an eye on the one-shot group. I think with it being summertime, we're kind of in a lull for games. And myself, I'm actually going to be going on vacation for the next week, so I won't be running any games. But I'm going to try to run at least a couple games a month. I'm going to try running games on the weekends for our friends that are GMT and closer to GMT to get you guys in on games, so I'm glad I could accommodate that. Normally I run games during the week in the evenings, which is middle of the night for those of you in the UK and in Europe and Eastern Europe. So I personally enjoy doing this. I enjoy especially helping beginners out. So this has been a blast for me. You guys made this really fun. And despite Paul, your terrible virtual dice rolls, that enhanced the story, in my opinion. I really like the way that it
Every
worked
group I play
out.
with always says that. I don't see it.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So, in closing, thank you guys all for a wonderful session. Keep your eyes out for future sessions. And to those of you that have watched, it looks like here at the end we actually have 3 viewers. We've had a couple throughout. And I know a lot of people will probably check this out in the coming weeks, as it will be on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/mini-terrain domain. Subscribe, comment, like, whatever. Tell me what else you want to see on there. You can also find my channel represented on Facebook at facebook.com/mini-terrain domain. And I'm also on Twitter. Basically, look anywhere on social media for mini-terrain domain, and you'll find me there. And I try to promote my games ahead of time. And I'll also post links to these afterwards. So I'll even, later today, once the video's had a chance to process through on YouTube, I'll post a link there. So thank you very much, and I bid you adieu.
All right.
Mitted.
Bye, guys.